time voices yet. Alright, the next performer, in real life his name is Mark, and on the playa he likes to be known as Mark. Give it up for Mark. Warm playa welcome.
Thank you. What's up, hippies? My name is Mark, and I'm from Scotland. Yay! That means I get asked one question all the time on the playa, and that question is, of course, "Hey buddy, are you Irish?" And I say, "No, I'm not, but I appreciate your concern." And at that point, people get very apologetic, and I say, "It's okay, you're Americans. You're Americans. You're good at bombing countries, not so good at finding them on a map." But what happens is I tend to disappoint people because they want to meet an authentic Scotsman. Someone who's all haggis and kilts and bagpipes and whiskey and golf. And I'm not really like that. But I hate to disappoint people. So what I do is I pull out this big Braveheart sword and I stab them. And I stab them. And I say, "Eat my freedom!" And I stab them. Then I shoot up some heroin and nod out. And that way no one is disappointed. All cultural stereotypes have been addressed. Alright, come on, it's Friday afternoon at Burning Man. The weekend starts now, right? Anything could happen in the next 48 hours, right? And don't take my word for it, just ask Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. I'm referring, of course, to the movie 48 Hours, which some of you people not owning TVs will never have seen. I'm talking about a very specific weekend in the late 80s. Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte, about 1.5 pounds of Colombian cocaine and 5 transsexual hookers in a hotel room for 48 hours. You really had to be there. And that's why I'm no longer a transsexual hooker. I was scared straight that weekend. When you're next in line for Eddie Murphy to suck on your toes, you find Jesus really fucking quickly. Anyway, I was standing in front of a roaring fire last night. And someone said to me, "Mark, you have an old soul. A very old soul. A soul that would have been at home in Spain in the year 1540. And I said, "Never mind that, just answer the question. Are you or are you not a witch?" "Mother." And the flames went higher. So they say if we learn nothing from history, we're doomed to repeat it, right? You've heard that. If we learn nothing from history, we're doomed to repeat it. That's why I spent all day today fighting the French Revolution. And as luck would have it, I learned nothing in the process. So I'll be fighting it all over again tomorrow. If you want to join me out somewhere past the man, it's BYOG. That's Bring Your Own Guillotine. It's also BYOB, that's Bring Your Own Bourgeoisie. Because if somebody could bring some bourgeoisie, we could really get that party started. Because today we were mostly beheading action figures of Princess Amidala from Star Wars. And that's a lot of things, but it's not a revolutionary act. So tell me something, man with tattoos, howdy. Tell me, do you have a pet name for your balls? You don't. Bobby, do you have a pet name for your balls?
No, I don't.
Okay, people apply names for themselves, but they don't have names for their balls. I find that hard to believe. Does anybody have a pet name for their balls? What do you call your balls, madam? I'll tell you. Okay, I'll get to the joke. I'll just shut up and do the joke, right? I refer to my balls as the boys. I think we've heard that, right? That your balls, the boys. The joke. I call them the boys, and I like to shave them because I feel it accentuates the family resemblance, right? But what I like to do sometimes is just shave one of them and let the other one grow wild. And then when somebody says to me, "Mark, what's the deal with..." I'm like, the boys, this one's mine, the other one, adopted. But they're my boys and I love them all the same. So, has anybody actually brought a laptop to Burning Man? Don't you like the wireless network on the playa? I'm not into that at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it sucks. Does anybody like send a lot of email though when they're at home? You, for example, tell me something. As you have fairy wings on, you probably use a lot of smiley faces in your emails, don't you? Oh yes, you do. Anybody like to use the smiley in their emails? Come on, you do. Of course you do. I don't like the smiley, and I'll tell you why. I didn't learn to read and write so that I could communicate using a crude system of pictograms. Call me old-fashioned, but that's how I feel. If I wanted to do that, I'd get in my time machine and go back to ancient Egypt. And if you use the smiley, you should probably come with me, because you probably worship cats. And I'll show you how using this basic mathematical proof, right? The number of smileys you use in an email times the number of times you used 14 exclamation marks when one period would have done, over the number of times you claim to have LOL'd when you didn't, equals the number of cats you'll own in old age. That's a fact. Alright, I'll wrap up with this. Once we're finished in the desert, I have some forms. Is anybody interested in signing up to join the US Army to go and fight in Iraq? Excellent. I have forms you can fill in later. The thing is, most people are like, no, I'm not going. Now, Al-Qaeda don't have this problem, right? They don't have a problem getting people to go and fight in Iraq, mostly because they're already there, which cuts down on gas, which is expensive, so it's probably better. But the other reason they don't have a problem is they have the best marketing plan in history in place, right? If you're in Al-Qaeda and you get shot and you go upstairs to meet your maker, what do you get? 77 virgins, close but not correct. Anybody else want to spin the wheel of virgins? How many virgins? 72, correct. 72, that's an odd number, isn't it? Actually, it's an even number, but it's also an odd number. What I think happened was this. When they were road testing it at first, they just were like, how many virgins can one man fuck in heaven before he's sated, before he's just had enough? And the guy who got the lucky man who was testing this was like, at about 70, he's like, I'm done. I can't fuck another virgin. This is exhausting. I'm so glad I answered this ad on Craigslist. But I'm handing in my notice tomorrow and I'm just going back to reading the missed connections. This is fucking exhausting. And the guy with the clipboard is like, are you sure you're done? Because there's twins outside. And he's like, fuck it, send them in. He's like, there's triplets. He's like, no, that would be greedy. But anyway, my point is this. If you're in Al-Qaeda, you get 72 virgins. The US Army is offering nothing of a comparable value. And I think this has to change. Here's my suggestion, right? If after Burning Man you fill in a form, they bring back the draft, you go to Iraq, you're an army of one, you become a corpse of one, you get shot, you go upstairs, lesbian three-way in heaven with Jenna Jameson and Marilyn Monroe. Yeah? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you are thinking, Mark, that's a very unenlightened notion of the afterlife. It shows no real sense of spiritual growth. It's a bit too much touched by an angel and not enough to bend Book of the Dead, right? No, you're looking at me and you're thinking, Mark, that's nonsense. You can't have a lesbian three-way in heaven with Jenna Jameson and Marilyn Monroe for one very good reason. Jenna Jameson isn't dead. To which I say, if we're serious about winning this war, some sacrifices are going to have to be made. My name's Mark Day. You can find me on MySpace. That's been my time.
Come back tomorrow.
Yes. He'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock for the comedy show.